Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Dario here with another Options and Play video update. So great, great move to start the week in a ton of tech names, specifically the big cap tech names like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and while I am happy in some regards, right? So I'm happy for to be have come into the week with some Apple options. I'm not happy because I was attempting to open Microsoft options to start the week. This was one of the names I was looking at both as just kind of like a swing trade, the near term, but also like looking down the road, maybe like a few more days. And normally, I'll also ramp into the report candidate because felt like Microsoft great breakout on Friday. You have not only a technical move where it's starting to clear this lower congestion range and start to make a run back towards its high, but also you have earnings about 2 weeks out, give or take, and it felt like just been so consistently good from an earnings standpoint that you have a good technical setup, you have good recent history of earnings, and you have strong sector. Tech still acts amazing. So I felt like it was a nice combination. Now the problem is that there was a huge gap this morning, and it really didn't give an opportunity to get into the trade at the prices I was hoping for. All right, and question that comes to mind, and what I got asked today is like, when do you chase and how much do you pay up for stuff, right? And I guess for me, there isn't always a definite rule that I follow, but there is kind of like some sort of like guidelines that I tend to operate within because sometimes I will pay up for options, sometimes I will slightly chase if I think that there's more potential like on top. But it really kind of comes down to two things, and the first being like, is the stock already at the target? So like my preliminary target range, because I typically set like at least one target before getting into a trade, sometimes two. So if the stock is already at my preliminary target range and I haven't gotten involved yet, then that to me uh, usually leads to an avoid. So like in this case, like Microsoft, I mean, I was looking for a rally into the report, and it had today, by the time I normally like to get into my swings, which is like 30 minutes into the session, it was already back into like the 120 range. So that was already, so you can see like here, so like by like the first 30 minutes, it was already up like 219 and change, right? So I felt like as it was getting into low 220s, I mean, that was already kind of pushing into like the preliminary target range that I was thinking of, because I mean that would already send like the call almost at the money, or into the money, or call spread in this case at the money, in the money. So like that was one of the things kind of prevented me from paying up. Also, option pricing, right? So if I have a certain action area, what I call it in mind, right? So a certain range that I want to open the strategy within. If the strategy is now, say, 25, 30% or more above what I was going to, or what I wanted to pay, then that to me usually makes me more cautious, because that's starting to get outside of the band of like of immaterial risk to material risk, right? So if it's like 10%, adding 10% to the overall premium, it might not change the risk reward that much. But when you start adding 25%, 30%, even like 50% more premium to a strategy, then that could really alter the risk reward pretty substantially. All right. So, in addition to kind of getting into like the preliminary target range, also the option pricing got jacked up pretty significantly too. So that's why I didn't chase Microsoft up, or that's why I didn't pay up for options, because it was just a little bit too far. Technically, it was also a little bit too high priced option wise. All right. But again, there's not like a definitive guideline or set of rules that I use, but those, if I was going to say something, those would probably be it. All right. So if it's already at my target range before I can get involved, and also if the option pricing is like 25, 30% or more above what I originally wanted to pay. Those are usually like the levels where I hit the pause button and just wait either for a pullback to get involved, or sometimes you just got to let it go without you, right? Um, so wasn't how I drew it up. Obviously, would have loved to have been in it or been able to get into it, but sometimes you just have to let things go without you. I mean, if that's how it wants to go, so be it. There'll be other trades, right? Not to mention, we're just getting into it. We haven't even actually technically started earnings season. It starts tomorrow. So, I mean, we're not going to lack for good setups. We're not going to lack for action. So, if we miss one, we miss one, right? Okay. So, as I said, earnings season gets going tomorrow. So, if you are interested in earnings related trades with options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options play, because we are getting into a very, 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 very busy stretch. All right. Hope you have a wonderful night. Stay well, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.